Yeah, I may need your assistance in rounding up some actors and
Yeah. All right, we are recording. Huzzah! We made it work. Okay. Um, Sweet. So, hello. Welcome. This is our first interview process. Um, for this year's 2023 Colorado Musical Festival. Um, August 18th through the 20th. 18th and 20th are at the Broomfield Auditorium, and the 19th is at the Refuge, following our devising conference. More info and updating info on our website, wellspringtheater.org. We also have a fun and exciting thing for writers coming up that Wednesday before the thing. Our writers room is gonna double as our like composer mixer, and we're gonna do it at Thane's table. So you're the first to know that. Congratulations.
nice.
I haven't sent that email yet, but so that'll be really fun. We kind of did that last year off the cuff, and it was kind of a neat thing. Um, so that'll be our thing at Thane's table. Normally, our writer's room is online. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Well, I guess I should introduce myself to people who don't know who I am and are watching this, huh? Right. So, I'm Kelly Buster Graham. I am the founder of Colorado Musical Festival and the music director, and I do these interviews. That's me. Uh, Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are.
Thanks, Kelly. It's great to be with you. My name is Rich Uhrlaub, and I'm a Denver native. Grew up, had my first piano lesson in Denver at age 5 when my mother, after washing the dishes, said to us, "Who wants to learn to play the piano?" And I thought it was going to be a one night thing. And I discovered very differently pretty quickly. Um, and have lived here most of my life. I moved away and came back quite a bit. I was born and relinquished and adopted here in Denver as an infant. And that is kind of the inspiration for my new musical. It's totally the inspiration for my new musical, which is called For the Records. And it's in development. Super excited about it. Have some amazing talent has just fallen into our laps who've been able to collaborate and help on the project. And so we have 2 acts and 18 scenes, and um, so far songs that seem to make people cry. There's some exciting ones, but people are really touched by it, and that means a lot. That really means a lot.
Definitely. Well, tell us what your show is and what it's about. You kind of started to get into that, but if you want to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, the main character is named Joshua, and it basically opens up with him in a therapy session trying to sort out his life after pretending everything is okay as an adoptee and he has no issues. Classic male thing to do and a classic adoptee thing to do because we're very busy trying to a please other people and b not get relinquished again. And so the show really has two goals. One, it captures the big picture of what relinquishment and adoption was like in the last half of the 20th century. It was a very sealed, closed up, shame based process where many women were coerced into relinquishing their children. And that caused a lot of trauma for them, as well as the children. Um, and so it captures that era. I've led a support group and been involved with adoption advocacy for over 20 years. So I've heard a ton of stories, and of course mine pops up here and there throughout. But it's not about me. And then the other piece of it is within that milieu, within that culture, we focus in on this Joshua and his family, the Greenmans, who adopt him as an infant, and they're kind of under the belief that it's just like having your own baby. And as many parents were instructed to do, they don't even tell him that he was adopted. And so along the way, he discovers serendipitously that he was, and that reshapes his whole world and sets him off on a trajectory to really figure out who he is. So what we say about it is it's about truth and identity and transparency and adoption. So really excited about it, and it's been very well received so far.
Yeah, that's yeah, definitely. I can see that. Um, I mean, told us a little bit about your why. One of our premises for the festival is telling stories that aren't typically told on stage. So maybe share a little bit about your thoughts on like why it's important and why it's an untold story.
Yeah, I got talking to some of the musicians I'm collaborating with, my arranger and my orchestrator, who are both on their East Coast guys. One of them toured with Anastasia in the orchestra, and the other one is a musical director in different shows on the East Coast. And neither one of them had heard anything about this. As we were going through, they would say, "Now, why does this person say that? And we don't really need that. We don't need these birth mothers having a voice in this, do we? Because it's about the adoptee." I was going, "No, no, 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 no. We absolutely need the mothers involved." And this is a movement. The whole adoption reform movement has really been driven largely by women, which most people don't know. Male adoptees are a little slower to wake up to our issues, and I think a lot of women confront these issues when they hit child rearing age, and they tune in so much more. And so um, there's sort of a cultural myth that adoption, and I love adoption. I'm not against adoption. I had a great life. My parents did everything they knew to give me a wonderful life. However, every adoption starts with loss. Adoption starts with some sort of grief. And that's not a narrative that's really in the American consciousness right now. Some shows like This Is Us has really brought that more to the forefront.
Hmm.
And the movie Lion, I don't know if you saw that, has brought that more to the
That one's
forefront.
new to me. Yeah.
Dev Patel, amazing story about an adoptee from India who ends up being adopted into Australia as an international adoptee. But this is really a space. My musicians, once they got it, the lights came on and they said, "Nobody has done this. Nobody's talking about this. We didn't know anything about this. We've got to get this out. We've got to get this story documented." And music touches us viscerally in a way that just a straight play can't. And we're seeing that as people are hearing the songs. So I'm honored to be part of it. The way I got started, if you want to hear that,
Sure. Yeah.
another COVID story, right? You're sitting home staring at the four walls, twiddling your thumbs, and the place I live happens to have a hot tub, and so I was outside sitting in the hot tub, and I just got this download of about 15 songs all about adoption, and like little first lines or little melodies and stuff. Sort of, the muse attacked me. Basically, I got jumped by the muse. And I was like, that would make an incredible musical. I'm not sure I'm the right conduit for this, but thanks, and I'll give it a try.
Right.
And so I started writing lyrics, and the right resources showed up, and it's been a great learning process. And now here we are with 2 acts and 18 songs, and people getting fired up about it. So
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so awesome. Um, next, or I forgot to mention to our audience members, that I have a lovely toddler upstairs. He hasn't had a nap yet today, so if you hear toddler or you hear banging noises, my bathroom's also being remodeled. So, that is also part of our audience today. We take all kinds here. Uh, so the next question I have for you is why should folks come see the showcase performances, and particularly come see the portion we've selected from your show to feature?
you know, uh, overall, I think this showcase is going to be fantastic. I've been listening to the songs and reading the scripts of some of the other
Hmm.
creators that you've selected, and I'm so impressed. These are some heavy duty plays that have already won some awards, and people who are very gifted and well known. And uh, it's something I really want to see build up in Colorado. I'm a Colorado native, and I think my musical career peaked in high school when I played Harry Beaton in Brigadoon, and I got to die. It was good, but in terms of what's happening here, the theater scene is so strong, and musicals are cool again. They went through a period where they weren't so cool, but I think Pasek and Paul have brought that awareness back that there's a different ways to do this and new ways to think about it and ways to write chords and do lyrics that will touch people's hearts and for a whole new generation. And it's showing with a number of submissions that they're getting at so many of these contests. Yours are up. ASCAP, I think, had like 124 this year, and they
Wow.
picked four. And so it's a great opportunity to support it. It's wonderful location. Our show in particular, I love that you picked the first three scenes because it sets the stage and it really captures the environment that the main character is born into, not knowing anything about the challenges that he faces, not knowing anything about what he's going to have to navigate in life. But it's really an essential backstory piece that uh, it just captures the moment where you've got adoptive parents. They sing a song called Baby Fever, and it's kind of fun, but there's a lot of truth in it as well, where you've got all the players, the adoptive parents, you've got the agencies, you've got the birth parents who don't know what to do. And then you kind of have the babies. This is, we weren't sure whether to do singing babies, but but we decided to do it because babies have no voice, but they're there.
Right.
And then it follows on with the experience of basically being separated from your mother. And the third scene captures what relinquishment looked like for 1.5 million women in America. And so I was so thrilled when you chose those first three scenes. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Um, have you seen Bright Star? Are you familiar with it at all?
No, but you mentioned it at
I did mention a
rehearsal, and I went and
rehearsal.
looked it up.
The so a portion of that show deals with a woman who gets pregnant in the early 1900s and is forced to give up her child. And it's like that show does a beautiful job capturing that. And so it does a beautiful job capturing it, but your show and like those moments I think also do a really lovely job capturing it in a different way from a different lens. um but yeah, that's, if you have not watched it, I was not prepared when I went in to watch the show. I thought, oh, it's a cute little high school show, that'll be great, and then I wound up like bawling my damn eyes out. It was a whole like experience. And so I would say definitely go in prepared for some emotions and some feels. But yeah, definitely it would be, in the vein of this kind of storytelling, and I think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah, it sounds like that's in the vein of Philomena. I don't know if you saw Philomena
nope,
with
that's new to
Dame
me.
Judi Dench, but that's the story of Philomena Lee, who was in the Magdalen laundries in Ireland and
Mm,
also underwent extreme coercion in terms of what happened, and it won, I think, an Academy Award. Um, so another we show a lot of these types of films in our support groups
yeah, I bet.
to help people process their feelings and educate people around the changes. And thank goodness we're moving toward greater openness and truth and transparency in adoption. Although not every state is completely on board yet. Colorado is one of the leaders, which I'm excited to say we had a little hand in that. So
That's awesome. That is so
yeah.
cool. I love that. I love when advocacy and art are conjoined. So what are your show's next steps? What are you hoping for? What do you have coming down the line? What follows August 18th through the 20th?
So we will be performing. It will probably be a full reading rather than a full performance, but a full reading at an upcoming conference in Denver at the end of March. And our website is www.ftrmusical.com. So it's for the records musical.com, all one word, where you can follow what's happening there. And just recently, I was in Los Angeles at an ASCAP conference. Had a great chance to meet some people there. The show was two songs were just performed at a Unitarian church in Orange County on Sunday, and that was well received. And a couple people who were there have kind of reached out saying, "Hey, I know somebody who might be interested in producing this. So um, uh, doors are opening. I just feel like it's kind of meant to be. I feel sort of I've lived it, and in that sense, I feel worthy. I'm just another guy, so I'm kind of amazed that this opportunity has come around to help shepherd and develop this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yay. We'll have to be following along over there. And so my next question is, why should Colorado Theater do, or what, blah, 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 why should Colorado Theater produce your show following this workshopping process? And you could also elaborate on, like, why should we do more new musicals in Colorado? Because some people are hesitant, and that makes me sad.
I've talked about this with my musicians, and the right guys, again, just totally fell into my lap because our philosophy, um, I'm a theater goer. I've been going to musicals like crazy lately just to see how they do what they do, not just to be entertained, but to watch every moment. And they're so tight and they're so clean and they're so powerful. Um, the concern that we've talked about is that in today's era, there's a temptation to want to do only what's safe
Right,
or to only adapt something that has now come into the public domain that was already a success so that there's name recognition.
right.
And I love that some great things have come out of it, but there are new stories being lived all the time that are powerful, and there's new talent coming up that is incredible. um, and I think Colorado is a place that we like to think of ourselves as innovators and kind of leading the way in different things in the nation. We have one of the biggest theater districts in the country, which people are surprised to hear, and it only makes sense that this would be a piece of that. um, we can't just focus on the dramatic. I actually went to high school and played on the tennis team with Steve Dietz. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a playwright from Colorado
Oh, okay.
that has come back and been involved. He taught at UT Austin. He was in Seattle. He was in Minneapolis for a while. And this is a little known fact, but his plays have been performed more than Edward Albee plays in the
Oh, wow.
U.S.
That's
And so
awesome.
as a living playwright in the U.S., he's kind of a big deal. And I'm going, hey, I knew that guy when we were playing ping pong in his basement. Um,
I love
I
that.
don't know if any of his talent rubbed off on me or not, but it's we have great programs and all that to say. Uh, Music just adds another layer, it gets into a different part of your brain when you're accessing an experience. And there are places, and we talk about this in the world of adoption, there are places in your limbic brain that simple words cannot go. And we saw this at a performance at a church in Orange County where people who didn't even know the whole story, they hadn't seen the songs leading up to, they were just weeping at the end of the I Want song, which is called Dying to Know. So that's a long answer to a short question. So I have a lot of feelings on that, but things that are new, things that are of substance, things that really can move it forward. Colorado's known for that. So let's do more of it here.
Preach. I got to costume a production of Egg the musical, which is going to Edinburgh Fringe, which is super exciting. But I got to costume the show, and they did a preview at Vintage, and the preview was sold out, and I was so stoked. I was like, more of this, must. This is good. More. Show up for new musicals.
Well, and you think about the times we're in.
Yeah.
Musicals in what we think of as their heyday, the Depression and World War II, things where there were huge issues facing people.
Yeah.
And some of the musicals were an escape. Some of them were an idealized vision of life nobody was going to live, but it was kind of fun to pretend you could for an hour or two.
Yeah.
But it's a place to go. I think they can be a sanctuary that touch our humanity and inspire us to go back out and do it again. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and recognize some of the bigger human themes rather than just the horrible news that we're confronted with all the time.
Preach. Yeah, nope, totally. Well, and then the last question I have for you is, What other shows are you looking forward to seeing more of or seeing from the festival? Because I know you were kind of poking around.
Oh
What are
my
you excited
gosh.
about?
Yeah, they're all so good. I'm really intrigued by the whole premise of A Problem with the Pattersons, because there's something about it that kind of evoked the Jim Carrey movie, The Truman Show. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen a long time ago, but yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it came out a long time ago, but he was living in a bubble and everything was perfect, and he didn't know that he was on TV, and so I'm eager to see what that's about. Um, the premise, I went in and I watched a lot of The Last Ibex in a reading,
Mm.
which again, how would you find that idea? That's just brilliant. It's so clever and so well done. And those are they're all going to be great, but those are the two that have jumped out at me the most, I think, in terms of anticipation.
Yeah, no, that's I can see that. Yeah, no, they're all yeah. Again, this year's class is phenomenal. And yeah, no,
Oh, and
I'm excited.
yeah, I can't not mention that.
Oh yeah, the III and the West Side Stories. That one is so cool. Oh, so working on finishing casting that one because the struggle is real. But yeah, no, it's incredible. Yeah, there's some incredible stories. Yeah, like it's incredible. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. I would say with us, but it's just me. But taking some time to chat with me and talk
You can
about your
do the
show and talk about
imperial
the
we. That's
festival.
okay. We can.
It could be a royal we. I mean, I guess I do have, folks here. But yes, thank you so much. Come see one of the nights. It's the same showcase each night. August 18th through the 20th in Broomfield, 18th and 20th at the Broomfield Auditorium, and 19th at the Refuge, following our devising conference, which should be really darn cool. So definitely check that out at Wellspring Theater, RE. We're pretentious, apparently. RE.org. So awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Looking forward to it.